Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode. When you're in training to run track, the coach will teach you that when you're waiting for the starting gun to fire, don't listen for the sound. Watch for the white smoke from the gun. Now, the sound may be delayed up to a half a second traveling from the gun to you, so they tell you to look at the white smoke because it's almost instant. That's because you don't want to wait any longer than you need to start your race. For businesses, this is also very true. We're waiting for a starting gun for our nation's economy. You don't want to be too early, and you definitely don't want to be too late for the start of this race. Today, we're joined by good friends of ours, as well as good friends to this podcast, Terry and Nay Dismore. We're going to discuss launching your business again. You're going to enjoy this. Thanks for listening.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
Welcome to today's episode. I'm John Ondo, along with my beautiful wife, Angel.
Hi there.
And we are a small business podcast for small business, by small business, because we believe at some point in time we will all get back to some type of, I keep saying it's going to be a better normal.
I like to say new normal, but that's just me.
I want more. I want a better normal. So today we want to talk about reentry. What do we need to be thinking about now while we're in this outbreak crisis shutdown mode?
Yes.
To get ready to get back to work when they give us the green light.
It's funny. I was thinking about that very thing because I was looking forward, and I have several cupcake orders for graduation parties in May.
Yes.
I don't know if said graduations are happening, let alone said parties.
Including my own daughters. Which
yes. Well, I'm not allowed to do anything for that. But
well, that's a whole
other
story.
Hoosier.
Well, we're bringing in today our good friends. You've heard many times, and we can't. I'm so thankful. We are. Are we 6 feet apart? I think we are. We're pretty close.
Enough.
Terry and Nay Dismore with us.
Yay! Yay! We're here.
Terry has a full-time job. How do you describe your full-time job?
Travel, stop, collect a check.
That's a nice business.
He left
Are there
that
donuts
apart.
somewhere in there?
There are donuts, and there ought to be.
I want to talk about donuts, but speaking of snacks, though, Renee, you do. I keep wanting to say pretzels with a twist, but it's not. It's snacks with a twist now because pretzels aren't enough. That was a James Bond movie, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was. Yeah. So you tell us real quick. You brought newness to the home tonight. What was the new recipe?
It's dark chocolate, pecan, and cherry bark.
Oh, my God.
So
that's all I have to say.
So you need to stay tuned through the whole episode so we can tell you how to get that deliciousness. But as we were just mentioning, before we get into the problems and what was the hee-haw song? Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Whoa!
Deep, dark depression, excessive misery.
Oh, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Oh!
Gloom, despair, and agony on me.
That literally was spontaneous.
Yeah.
That was fan-bloody-tastic.
You know what's bad?
What?
We all knew all the lyrics.
Yes.
Well,
This is true.
we were at Opryland not that long ago.
Oh, well, that explains a lot.
And I can't help but start singing I love the hee-haw theme.
Oh.
Anyway, so the whole point of that was...
Please stay with us.
Yeah.
Do not tune out now. We may sing Gilligan's Island later.
Yeah. Before we were discussing a little bit ago something I didn't know about or knew very little about. There is here in our beautiful state of Ohio a donut tour.
There is a self-guided donut.
Like a whiskey tour, but it's a donut tour. If you've been on
the Bourbon Trail, it's called the Donut Trail. And it's all, I believe it said, Faneugle. I want to say it was Butler County.
Yeah, Butler County.
Yes.
And it said within an 80-mile radius, you can visit 12 different...
A dozen
donut shops.
We're saying here, Terry, Renee, and all of us, I think we just need to do that.
I think once we know that everyone's open again and all is well with the world, but my dear friend, who shall remain nameless, but you know who I am, cheers, or I know who you are, whatever. You had shared that with me last year, and you had a great time, so we need to do it.
I want to get a representative of the donut tour folks on.
They're on Facebook.
Because here's the thing. I know, I am not exempt from what is happening with our economy and our world right now. We literally, I'm sure I'm down right now technically 50% on business. Angel hasn't made a cupcake in a month.
Nope.
You're taking a bit of a hit.
A little bit.
Are you doing okay?
Yes, we're doing pretty good. I'm really very happy about that. It slowed a little bit this last week, but towards the end of the week, things seem to pick back up. We're getting more business through our website now, which is really good.
Well, the thing I want to talk about and have kind of a little bit of a roundtable discussion, as we are around a round table.
Hey,
yes, we are.
Works out that way.
Is my concern is with I have a video production business. We've lost business. We've got a few things still active, but it's way down. Premier Podcast is our production company. We're honestly not getting that much going right now, and I think it's because people don't know what's happening, how long we're going to be in this. They don't know if they've got money. I get it. So we're trying to throw out free stuff. A lot of people, and I think it's so cool to see so many businesses, large and small, say, I've had businesses that have told me, I've had businesses I've told them, if you can't pay me this month, it's okay. Pay me when you can. I get it.
Yeah.
And that's been a lot of fun to see people just really, get along really well. But I'm thinking about is how can I be using this time to get ready for what I'm going to call reentry when this thing goes back and whoever it is throws the green flag that we start. What do we do? How do we prepare for? What are things that you guys are thinking about with your small businesses and so forth, with getting ready and ramping up for reentry?
Well, I was thinking about this a little earlier. We were watching a video a little while ago for Apollo 11.
Yes.
One of the big things they talked about the whole time while Apollo 11 was going up, going to the moon, landed on the moon, came back, was how do they re-enter?
Yes.
And if they entered at too steep of an angle, they'd burn up. Mm-hmm. If they entered back into the Earth's atmosphere at too shallow of an angle, they would skip off and be gone forever and ever. Yes. But they had to do it just right. So I don't think this is going to be an issue in re-entering the business place. I think, for one thing, we're going to get a yellow signal before we get a green signal. So go back in with caution, and then it's go.
One of the things I'm concerned about with my business, and again, I know we're talking to people who maybe own restaurants, and God bless you. I am praying for restaurant folks. I don't know with rent and employees. My heart goes out to you.
Right.
My video production business, I know my problem is going to be I had clients and projects lined up for March, April, May, June, literally through the summer that have officially shut down, but I'm afraid in September or July or somewhere when the green light really hits that I'm going to get inundated with calls, and my natural, almost fearful reaction is I got to say yes to everybody. In all reality, I probably am going to need to say I can only take in 3 or 4 projects now. We'll have to push things off. I'm hoping people will be understanding. But,
right.
But
Correct.
After coming off of this, you're like, I got to take everything I can and get the money, but you just can't.
No.
Thoughts on that, or how what are things you're thinking? Because getting overwhelmed coming back into this, I think, is going to be a problem.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things that I have said to some of my corporate accounts is that, well, I'm going to give you a discount when your next order.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm getting no orders from them, of course, because the bars are closed. Most of the other corporate accounts, everybody's out of the building. There's nobody there to buy the snacks. And I'm giving some discounts. One of the other things we're going to do is I'm going to come in and do a tasting for them. And just,
that's a great idea.
Just go to the different places and set up and let people try the products again or for the first time, and we'll go from there. But I think if we can help with discounts a little bit, I think that's going to be a good thing. And so several of my clients were really excited about that.
One of the things we're doing, and I was talking with Terry about this with our Premier Podcast, we have a a co-working site that is set up here in Columbus that entrepreneurs use, and a lot of people are familiar with those. We were all set to announce that we were going to put a Premier Podcast studio with them right when all this hit.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've talked about, because they're great folks and they're like everybody else, they're doing amazing things for their clients. But what we've talked about is when this, again, they reopen, let's do a big shebang opening with where we'll do a TED Talk style like podcast night with cocktails and whatever we need to do, cupcakes obviously,
Yes.
and a few of our other podcast clients that we have come in, and they can share their stories and again just have a big event to help educate people. It's like, let's get the podcast going. Let's get back to where we were, getting aggressive with marketing and doing our things.
What did you say about you've got the things that you've got coming up are mostly graduation things?
I have 3 on the books, but the question is will graduation commence when it's supposed to? And I'm starting to wonder, no, will they even be able to have these parties? Because they were in May. In May, I don't know that we're even going to be at a yellow light in May. Let's hope, but it's just a question mark. And I have a girl who's still sitting in my phone who wanted a birthday cake in mid-May, and I do need to follow up with her to find out, do you still want it? Because whether or not they're having a party will determine whether or not I'm going to spend the time.
They may still want the cake. It's just only 3 people can eat it.
So
We'll
the
see.
common thread here, though, from everything that everybody said so far is humans getting together.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you need to plan for in reentry is how do you handle humans getting together? Obviously, for Nay and you, it's not a problem with, I'm going to bake a cake or we're going to do this. You're in your kitchen and you're doing that. You don't have to worry about accommodating that. John, on the other hand, you had a thing recently where you had to cancel. They wanted you to go ahead and shoot, but you couldn't shoot when there was somebody around, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a tricky situation. We had been setting up, we were doing a kind of a real estate apartment demo for a new apartment building, and they were very excited, and we were going to do aerials and obviously all the shots in and out of the place, but we also wanted to do testimonials. And of course, last minute, the governor said, we're expanding this for another month. And they were so, I don't want to say desperate, they wanted to get something. I said, well, I think from reading the governor's guidelines and the fact that people walk dogs and fly drones without any problems, that I could still do all the photography. I would just do it by myself, but we weren't going to do the interviews. And we're going to be able to get something up and running for them. And that was actually the first time I had shot anything in several weeks. It was kind of felt good. But otherwise, we're really limited to what we can do. We're working with one of our podcast clients using Squadcast FM that we can actually do all the people in the podcast via remote. So we have that capability, and I'll just put that in for anybody who wants to do a podcast like that. We can do that with Premier Podcast because we have that technology. But we got to get creative. And, the thing, Terry, too, I'm curious on what your reaction is we don't also know what we're going to end up with. Businesses can open, but you can only be within 6 feet of people, or you got to wear masks, so there's that level of, I can't do TV interviews if people are wearing masks. I won't, so
Right.
How are we? We don't know yet how we're getting out of this yet and what restrictions there may be. I was even just thinking of this morning. We do have a presidential inauguration coming up a year from now, less than a year, in January. And it just dawns on me, will there even be one? Will we be in a place that we feel comfortable, even as people, even if they say, go do whatever you want, we don't care, that we're going to even want to be that close to anybody in a crowd, a concert, a lot of concert promoters. So there's a lot of questions in our gloom and despair moment here.
Well, but here's the thing that you've got to do as a small business. I used to call it the 4 Ps of operation.
Okay.
Pray, prepare, plan, proceed.
All right.
The only one that we're missing right now is the proceed. We don't know when we can proceed or what we're going to be allowed to do when we do that. So, we don't always pray enough. And I think a lot of people are doing that now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Prepare. Now, here's what I was thinking about this when you asked us to talk about this today. Right now is a great time to look at your processes.
Yes.
Because you're not doing them.
Exactly.
So you go back and read, like we were talking off air a little while ago about you going with your spreadsheet and going, okay, how much this cost me and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, and I couldn't figure it out, and it was very upsetting.
Well, and Nay and I have gone through our process lately to go, what are we doing? Now, this is more for labeling and all that kind of stuff. What are we spending too much money on? What are we not spending enough on? What do we need to do? But pray, prepare, plan, proceed. And the only one that's missing right now is how do you proceed? Mm-hmm. Well, you proceed at the speed that you're allowed to. So we've all been in a traffic jam where 7 lanes of an 8-lane highway are closed. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't just fly through there when they open it back up again. It starts slowly, and we kind of get our feet. It's kind of like what we've done. If you've noticed, the first couple of days, so when did this stay-at-home order go into effect? Sometime
mid-March or so.
16th of March?
Yeah.
Okay, so that first week, we didn't know what to do. What can you go do? And ever since then, things have changed a little bit. They put plastic up at the grocery store, and more people are wearing masks, and fewer, people are getting out. People are getting more comfortable with it. I think that's what's going to happen with small business. But the processes are already in place. The processes of how do we operate are already in place. And you also can take a further look at your purpose while you're doing this. Ooh. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
There's a lot of alliteration going on here.
That's
tonight,
great.
I enjoy it.
Well, thanks. But it's like...
it's perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime.
I was going to say I like a lot of peas, but then
well, I do too. The green peas, a little butter on them, and some carrots.
Yeah.
Yuck.
But what?
But here's something, and Angel and I have talked about this in a couple episodes. Angel's obviously working from home. Her business is one that is probably going to slow down once they go back to normal, because right now hers is kind of in an upswing.
He's talking about my full-time.
Yeah. Not the cupcakes. Her customer service business with a big company that's heavily involved in fixing this virus, sort of. And so it will probably maybe slow down. Maybe it will stay high, but they're doing well right now, and that's a blessing. But you're working from home.
Yes.
I think a lot, in my mind's eye, and Terry, you work with a lot of different businesses, and I know Nay works with a lot of, when I was brick and mortar kind of businesses with her snacks. So I'm kind of curious, as we talk about, I look at this not only just being reentry, I think it's a reboot. You see a lot of businesses who never thought about, maybe we'll do a little takeout, and now they're all takeout, and they've made, we were just through Raising Cane's Chicken, and they were cranking through that drive-through, and it makes you wonder how many businesses are going to sit back and say, we can do more takeout, we could do more online orders, we could maybe reduce not do as much, because I do think the public is going to be like, I don't know if I want to sit down in some of these places anymore after what we've been through. I'd rather take it out and take. What's your some thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's absolutely possible, but I also think the thing that we're noticing in some of the places we've been out to, for instance, a friend of ours has a food trailer, and the last 2 Sundays he's set it up just on the street, basically in a park near us, and he's sold out.
I bet you the food trucks are absolutely killing it right now, I would think.
And here's the thing. You have to remind people, stay 6 feet apart, but people hang around 6 feet apart to talk. People miss people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got to keep that in mind. This is not, when we go back to the new normal, or what was your phrase?
The better normal.
The better normal. When we go back to that, it's going to look a little different. It won't look that different permanently. If you remember, after most of us, all 4 of us were alive on 9/11. Some of us were almost alive at Pearl Harbor, but it's not quite that bad. That things looked different for a while, and then they just kind of gradually got to where you didn't even think about the way things used to be.
Let's talk about some of the new entrepreneurial opportunities. Zoom is obviously killing it with video conferencing.
Right.
We were part of a whiskey tasting thing last night.
That was so
It was a lot of fun. We didn't have to leave our home, which
right.
Is safer than if you're doing something like that at a bar.
Right.
And quite honestly,
expensive because you got to have the whiskey.
But I thought I would continue to do this a year from now.
Oh, I would do that again wholeheartedly.
So I think, again, we talked about this and I think you guys were here, but it's like when the teeter-totter, when things go down, things go up. And I do think there are opportunities. And again, my heart bleeds for people who are probably thinking, I got to shut down my business. But the thing I think we want to encourage you with today is there are new businesses and new opportunities. I know it's hard. I know you invested money, but the government seems to be kicking in things, and other people are kicking. There might be, if you're like, I'm kind of done with what I'm doing. I was kind of tired of what I was doing. maybe this is your chance to jump in and do something new. You can reboot.
Well, think about the bars. So many of them that, do their own, make their own beer and stuff. They redid things so that they could make hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And several different things like that. The lady that owns my kitchen, she has put in for that also, that we can repurpose part of our kitchen to do that kind of stuff.
Because that stuff's not going to go away. That's and toilet paper will be made in bulk from now on.
But I think it is, to your point, it's an opportunity. I mean, I still look at cupcakes every day. I still look at stuff even though I haven't had a chance to make anything.
Yes.
And I'm not making anything. Why? Because I'm home all day and I will eat it. So I am not making it. Henceforth, we aren't doing it. But I think a lot of people are
snacks.
oh, that's okay. But I think people are going to take it out, if they have the chance, take the opportunity to relook at, what can I do differently? Is there something I can do differently? Maybe I will finally say, no more cakes, people. I'm only doing this, or no more this, and really look at it. And John's doing the same thing. He's looking at different ways to use the same talent. You had those lovely people on that found something that did the lovely video.
They did the viral video.
Which was...
It was a great story of a group of people who, instead of sitting around griping about what was going on, they said, let's make a video, and it went viral, and it's up to 2 million hits.
It's just the cutest thing ever.
And I guarantee, and this guy he does web development, but he does these animated videos he doesn't do enough of them. I guarantee you he is going to be doing a lot of animated videos for the rest of his life now.
Yeah.
Because he just took a little opportunity and thought, I'm just going to make something fun. He didn't expect anything out of it. But because he brought some smiles to people during this time, he invested, he gave, it's going to come back. Yep. And so I do think, Terry, give me the principle that we all believe in here, but you can state it more eloquently. If you have not had an opportunity to give or to put something in and pay forward with your business or with your family, why do we believe that is something that will return a blessing back to your business?
Well, we think it to be sure, it is Scripture that says, "Give, and it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And with the men will give back to you, and with the measure you use, you'll get it back." So there are several principles wrapped up in that. First of all, there are a lot of people that are Christians that don't agree with that. Well, okay, Jesus said it, so
deal with it.
I'm going to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, okay, so if I give, I'm going to get back. Now, here's the answer you get from some people. Well, I don't have to. Yeah, but it's like if I drop this cup that I've got in my hand on the table, it's going to make a noise, and it's also going to land on the table. It's not going to float to the ceiling. There's a law there. There's a law, a physical law of if I give away, I'm going to get back. Right now, there are a lot of opportunities to give away. Now, Nay has been giving away samples to people for years and we don't, we're like, well, what good does that do? Hey, you know what? We've got a business that's 6 years old. It's growing. We've got more influence. We've got more people that want to handle it. We're probably all over the world by now because of one of the clients that we have that has a worldwide business. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, now how did that come about? You know how that came about? We gave a sample away.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
So given it will be given back to you. Secondly, where does it come back from? Everybody's like, well, where does that come back from? People will give back to you. It may not be the same people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It may be other people, but you're going to get that opportunity.
Right.
And the third thing, the corollary to that is to be a good receiver.
Yes.
Okay, so there are people that don't like to receive anything. They're like, well, and it's a pride issue. It's always a pride issue, so I can't take that from you. Sometimes it's wisdom that you don't take something from somebody if you think they're trying to manipulate you.
Yes.
But you've got to be able to receive. And the final principle upon that is that it will come back to you and it will be more than you gave away. So if you give a little because you're afraid, you're going to get back a little because you're afraid. If you give a lot, you're probably going to get back a lot. Bill Gates has given away half of his, I don't know what the figure is, but it's a huge amount of money. Mm-hmm. Is he afraid he won't get it back? No. I'm sure there are people here in this town that understand the principle of giving away. So when you're a small business and you're at home and you can't go out, how do you give something away? You give knowledge away. You give insight away. You give product away if you can. You try to get samples into people's hands, and you make sure that you're doing it with the knowledge that things are going to come back to you, but not because things are going to come back to you.
A lot of people have a, I think, improper look at corporations and wealthy people saying they steal the money, they get the money. You know, even if you look at Steve Jobs, and I'm not, again, you know, they may or may not have any Christian values, but they applied Christian values.
Yeah.
Every single one, Warren Buffett, all these guys, they have foundations that give away billions of dollars. So when you look at and say, well, those rich people are applying what you just described. They have foundations, they have money. Unfortunately, you never hear it on the news that Warren Buffett gave away millions of dollars, or, you know, whoever it is. They're demonized in the media, and I hate to say it, but I think it's worth mentioning that this principle works, and this principle is happening in corporations everywhere, and you see it even right now as every day you open up the newspaper and entertainers, actors, people are putting money out to help businesses, and I do believe they will be blessed by that because they are applying. It's a physical law. So that's my 10 cents to that.
Well, and I agree, because the company that I work for, who always remains nameless on this podcast, I mean, we got a thing from the CEO today that we've given away, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 million or tens of millions, just in general, whether it be product or money or services, because of this.
And your stock was down 10%, and you still did this.
Yep.
So again, I'm just trying to put some good positive thing here. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the news, you get a very biased. Big companies are bad, and I'm just telling you, companies are good. Prosperity, capitalism is good, and it takes care of people, and we support that with this little group of 4 people right here.
Well, and if you have noticed that the countries that are bouncing back from this fairly quickly, like ours, are because we're honest about what the problem has been, and we've put everybody to work on it. It hasn't just been the government.
Right.
So I wrote a thing, what a guy could write. The other day called When Do We Get to Zero Risk? And the answer to that is never. You're never at zero risk.
Heavens no.
But that's what some people want.
Oh.
So let me tell you why I think we've gotten to that. Is because we have built a society around safety and lack of liability. Instead of the understanding that risk is what's required for capitalism, that we can't reach zero risk, that we have made a god out of experts. Mm-hmm. And when you make a god out of anything but God, you're going to get bad results.
Oh, yes.
And so in this, you've got the people out on this end way over here that are like, oh my gosh, I can't touch anybody ever again, and I won't be able to even blink at them, or I'll get the COVID-19. Mm-hmm. You got people on the other end of the spectrum like it's all a hoax.
Yeah.
The people that you're seeing right now is a fine illustration between a wealth mentality and a poverty mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a wealth mentality means this: abundance and prosperity. It doesn't mean I've got a lot of money. It means I'm not afraid of having a lot of money, but if I don't have a lot of money, it doesn't define who I am. A poverty mentality is this: a fear of lack.
Right.
Now, Nay and I were at the Kroger in a nearby city that is very wealthy the other day, and almost got thrown out because Nay made a joke. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, everybody there was terrified. There was all this fear going around. Well, we've talked on 48 of these podcasts now about fear. Where does that come from? It comes from what you know and what you believe.
I hope people have a better image of what's going on, and also just being home, being with the kids, homeschooling, going back to CBS Sunday Night at the Movie this week. They're bringing it back because it's exciting to see some of the things that we as old people would say, I remember when we used to do this.
Ed Sullivan's going to be on Sunday night,
It would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that?
And even though, and we've had some fun, we've had the kids in, and it has been good. There has been stress with it, but it's been really hard for me to say this has been some type of massive tragedy. Granted, we haven't been struck by the virus, but we haven't been, oh my gosh, this is the worst time ever. It's actually, I right now, if we come out of it the way we are right now, this was a blessing. This was a beautiful time to see some things. The finances will work itself out because
I don't know if my waistline agrees with that, but it's okay.
You can.
Well, it'll be different.
It will be. I wore some jeans yesterday just to give it a try.
Nay, I'm going to give you the last word because I know you had something you want to say.
you've got to think about what your perspective is in this. And what Terry and I have tried to have our perspective about is not, could we possibly get this? Oh, we got to guard ourselves from getting this. Our perspective has been, how can we make not only the Lord shine, but how can we make that in a positive way of reaching out to people? And when you get yourself off of you and start focusing on trying to help others, in whatever way that is. I had a lady call me about wanting to give just a small snack out to all her neighborhood. And we talked about it to see what she wanted to do and how we could do it. She could do it and, cost effectively.
Sure.
And also, I thought, I'm so into that too. I'm going to cut my costs a little bit so that she can do this for her neighbors. And so just get your eyes off of you and try to help someone. I tell you, when we help others, when we reach out, when we give, even in the midst of difficulties, you get a whole new perspective and it makes you feel so much better. And it always dispels fear.
Well, that's why I've, in my last 4 weeks, although it feels like time has stood still, the impact I've had on this whole situation because of what I do full time is something I'll never, ever get to do again. I mean, I always said be a hero. That was like one of the first episodes we did. Yeah. And I have gotten, my cape is in the washer all the time because it has been a long 4 weeks. Well, sure. But the acts of heroism that have gone on every day between myself and my coworkers trying to make these things happen is just, but
it's awesome.
That's exactly, but I don't have to worry about everything else.
Yes.
I can focus on that. And I know I'm doing some good.
Right.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to have you guys here. So real quickly, give me websites and tell us, because you have, again, let's review. What was the new snack?
It was a dark chocolate pecan and cherry bark.
And you can ship everywhere, can you not? So if you would like to try some of these snacks, give us the website.
snackswithatwist.com.
You can't get easier than that.
No. Easier, and you can order and get things going. We are a presentation of Premier Podcast. If you are interested in doing a podcast, if you're thinking a podcast would be a good way to relaunch and reboot your business, but you don't know where to start, my gift is I'm doing 30 minutes of free coaching to any business. Go to john@ondomedia.com or call us at 614-933-3191 and say, hey, John, I'm thinking about a podcast. Help me out, and I will spend a half hour with you, and we'll come up with stuff and hopefully energize you, because that's why I call myself the Podcast Evangelist. Hi, she's taking a picture of me. I don't know why.
Because you're handsome. She wants to remember that
when I'm not there. Yeah. So if you have any more, so if there's anything you want to bring up, if you're a business, we can give back to you in some way, answer some questions, give you some advice or counsel. Also shoot us an email or call us on that number, and we'd be happy to do it, because I hate this cliche. I'm so tired of we're all in this together, but we are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
And we will get through this together, and it will be a fabulous, fabulous new season we will go into. So from all of us here, this is John and Angel, and keep living the dream.
If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.